Yep, he's like, where's my Okay, call the meeting to order. Let's stand for the pledge.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Just a reminder that everyone needs to sign the slip at the beginning when you come in, so if you have not signed, please do so. All board members are here, all administrative staff is here. The meeting was submitted to the Green Bay Press-Gazette on Friday, December 12th, 2025. The meeting notice was distributed on Friday, December 12th, 2025 for posting to the Bank of Luxembourg Home Office, Luxembourg Post Office, and Casco Post Office. Our district's mission statement: we inspire minds, challenge students, and promote excellence. We are Spartans. I need a motion to approve the agenda.
I'll make that motion.
Motion by Alex, second.
I'll second.
Second by Brandy. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. The Board of Education recognizes the value of public comments on educational issues and the importance of allowing members of the public to express themselves on district matters. Prior to making a public comment, individuals must announce their name, address, and group affiliation. Each speaker's comments are limited to 3 minutes. All statements are to be directed to the presiding officer. No person may address or question board members individually. Speakers should not expect an immediate response or reaction to their comments. Do we have any comments? Hearing none. Our next meeting dates, subject to change, are January 26, 2026, February 18th, 2026. Both of those are at 7 p.m. right here in the multi-purpose room. Board opening comments? Oh, we have a quiet group today. Consent agenda. Items under the consent agenda are considered routine and will be enacted under one motion. There will be no separate discussion of these items prior to the time the board votes, unless a board member requests an item to be removed from the consent agenda for separate action. Do I have a motion to approve the consent agenda?
So moved.
Motion by Dave, second.
I'll second.
Second by Alex. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Administrative reports.
I'll start. I do listen to our admin meetings too. Joellen just puts me on the spot now. I want to start by just thanking Kyle for taking over for me when I was out on my maternity leave. He did a great job, so thank you to him, but also thank you to all of you for allowing him to step in my place. Other than that, since being back, it's only been 2.5 weeks, and it sure has been busy. I didn't miss out on too much. I mean, the ship obviously kept to the fast-paced environment. Outside of that, we had our holiday concert last week. That went well as always, really well attended, especially the afternoon concert. I wish we could encourage more families to come to the earlier one, because the afternoon one is always standing room only and it's tight. But I can't complain that families and community members want to attend that. So great job to Stacy and Mary on their performance. And then other than that, today, in my absence, if you didn't hear, I had to go to jury duty. I didn't get picked. But in my absence, the intermediate school ran a lockdown drill. I initiated that a few years ago where we do live drills just to try to make sure that our ALICE protocols are in place. If you would recall, earlier this year we would have talked at some point about how the district changed. Great opportunity for us to practice. I think it was a good learning curve today, but definitely some things that we need to fix to make sure that if we do have a situation in the district, we're more adequately prepared to respond appropriately.
Where do you want to go?
I can go. So I would just like to highlight tonight, we had a focus group when we, for special education, we actually had, I think, 13 parents maybe, so it was a nice showing, and I really appreciated just getting that feedback feedback from them of what they feel their experience has been and positives and areas of growth. So it was really nice for me to be able to listen in and hear that. So that was great. Always appreciate getting that feedback. I met with our counselors on Project Aware, which is through CISA, has gotten a grant to be able to come into schools and work on that. And so we're basically working on right now taking an inventory of all of the ways that we support essentially mental health. So kind of our tiered system through primary school all the way through high school, so we can kind of look at what do things look comprehensively across our district as far as how we're supporting the students around more of that social emotional side of things. So that's been really great to have that time to collaborate and kind of have someone lead us through that. That's been good. I feel like I'm back in kind of the throes of hiring and still working on filling some para positions and OT, so I feel like that's just kind of a never-ending thread. I feel like I'm getting caught up and we got people in place and then a few more pop up. So that's kind of never-ending and working through that. And then the last thing I'd like to highlight, I had the chance to come with my family to see the Best Buddies talent show here at the high school, and it was a really great experience. Got 50 kids up on stage, working together and showing off some very unique and fun talents. So that was a great experience. And Miss Jenny, you were there. Thank you for attending. It was nice.
Yeah, it was very nice. We weren't able to go last year, but yeah, I thought it was really cool. I really like, and I don't know how many years Best Buddies has been going, but I like how it's become like a buddy family. You know, so there's 3, 4, 5 students partnered up, you know, and I think that gives them a very good comfort level, you know, like, hey, I can meet with so-and-so, I can hang out with so-and-so. It was just, yeah, it was really, really nice. So yes, I did. I forgot that was already since the last board meeting. So yeah, I feel like
it was
I
quite a
went
while.
by.
I think it was like right after the last
Yeah.
board meeting.
Yes.
It was a while ago, but
Yeah, it was very nice, yeah.
Recent highlight for me. Yeah.
I think this was the 3rd one, right? 3rd annual, is that what you said?
Yes, it was a 13.
I've been working on forecasting. The model is now ready. We still have some things that aren't finalized, obviously at the state end when it comes to percentages and what those guarantees are for state aid. But Joellen and I are now gonna sit down with Baird and start going through what those numbers will look like for the future. Regarding the most, maybe this is gonna be in your report, the most recent property tax bills, you know, we just kind of heard some comments. So we talked about putting a letter together to explain why it has increased, that it's not really because of us, that it's higher property values, it's no state aid, additional money was put into it. And then we talked about creating a web page off of the business office page that will also talk about those things, but also posting articles in that when new articles come up that are going to be very important for them to read, that will have that website on there. I also updated on that page, and it will go live tomorrow, how to read the tax bill, which I did do in the annual booklet, but Kewaunee County came out with the new program, and so it's read completely different, and so I redid how that they read it so people can see it differently. Oh, and good news, the corridor 200 will be done during Christmas break. So they will be working on the flooring already. They said they'll start there, and if they can get 2 done, they will, but for sure the 1.
Yeah.
3 items. The first one was we met with Northbrook in regards to the Ag Center and how can we create a school enterprise. So if we have a hydroponics and we grow all this stuff, you also have a place to go with it. It also creates a great learning environment as well. It also creates sustainability where we would actually sell the product to Northbrook, such as tomatoes, cucumbers, lettuce, the whole 9 yards. So we met with Nick Bongo, the cook. Russ came over representing one of the owner groups, and he had to leave early, but they're very interested in that. And so we're just in stage 1, right? And so how do you build that? So we have a to-do list. We have a meeting coming up with our internal group that was part of that. Caden was part of that, and all the steps that we need to do. So I think, how do we utilize something and make it happen? Number two is today we had a meeting with the tech ed teachers about what are the potential options for the construction group, and I kind of alluded to that earlier. And we would like to look at creating taking the middle school tech ed and creating it as a building construction lab, where the middle school students would then be able to use all the spaces that the high school space uses. So they would be able to use the construction lab, they'd be able to use fab lab. Because what we're running up against is we have replicate two things. So we have two shops with woods in it, right? Now we can go down to one. And now we're only maintaining. If we want to use our printer system where they do 3D printing, now we only have one set of printers. The high school can use it and the middle school. So what I presented them was a master schedule of, here's all your schedules, okay? Here's if we move this around. It also truly creates exploratory towards careers in the construction, manufacturing type areas. And so we have really nice facilities. Why don't we expose our students to those so it helps them when they're moving through the system as far as what do I want to do when I grow up and what classes did I enjoy doing in our in that. And number three is we are Power School, talking with Gretchen and talking with the principals, has been kind of a pain. And a number of districts in our area and in our state have gone to Infinite Campus. And so we're just going to explore, is that a better option? So after Christmas, Joellen, myself, Gretchen, Scott Waldo, and I think I invited an instructional coach to set up an initial meeting to follow up with all the building principals, a bunch of leadership and teaching and staff, and to sit down and actually just, what makes you so much better than the competition? And it just, there's a lot of things that aren't easy within Power School. So we're just exploring because we really think that there could be better put things. So I'll just give you one example. In our phone call system, you can only put one parent in there. So we'll only call one or email one unless we add. And that is the dumbest system that you ever have when you have split families and those types of things. And so it's just, there's a lot of glitches, and you ask for, can you fix this? And the answer usually is no. So you're aware, we're just, the whole group is kind of, we've been talking about it for a long time internally, and we feel like it makes sense now. So those are the three, well, that doesn't include a number of other projects we're working on, but three that are exciting, that are moving forward. And so we're going to start working towards growth businesses for the construction end of it. We already have, we're going to create a plan for the Ag Center greenhouse area. And the other cool thing is they'll actually purchase our animals. So Nick said, yeah, we could do a pig variances and covers our costs as a district. That's what we're really trying to figure out, because that's the hard part of it all. So anyway, once we have the plan kind of together, if it all folds the way we want it to, we'll bring it to you. So, sorry, I talked a little bit more than I should have.
You're talking like,
No, I'm done.
I had to give you a little jab.
Okay, so at the middle school, I'm gonna, I guess, break this into some things for the kids and some things with the staff. So we're at that point of the school year where, you know, you can tell the energy is building toward, you know, the holiday break. And if you can't tell that with the energy, you can tell it by some of the decor or the gear or things of that nature. Today was flannel or plaid day. Tomorrow is dress as your favorite Christmas character, and so on and so forth. So we're looking forward to that. It's going to come pretty quickly, however, for them after we, you know, have that fun, to spend a couple of weeks to buckle down for the end of the quarter and the end of the semester. So that'll be around the corner and through by the time we meet again. Actually, I do have a maintenance update. I did block off the week of spring break in the gym. In talking to Don Famry, that's his current plan of using that week to take out the bleachers in the gym, that lower level. So between his staff and I think he's talked to Jesse, they're hoping to get that out during that week. And if it takes another day or two when we get back, it's what it is. So that whenever the company that is going to do the new install comes and says we're ready, that part is already done. So that's that plan. From a staff perspective, you know, the middle school staff is very proud of the fact of looking at one another as like a work family, a middle school family. And on one hand, there have been a couple of challenges for the staff family in that there are a couple of families on the staff who are going through some significant medical things, and the rest of the staff are rallying around them. So unfortunate to see, but also good to see that they're rallying around one another. On the other hand, maybe the most significant things that are going to happen from a staffing perspective is that we are welcoming Katie Peter-Silka into the family as the new administrative assistant in the office. She started last week Monday, and her first day actually flying solo is tomorrow because Sherry's not in tomorrow, but then her actual first day flying solo is next Monday. So that's going to be amazing, a new face, a new voice, all of those things. And then also to see Sherry go after, you know, it's either 37 or 38 years. Her last day will be Friday. So some big things for the middle school staff. They're happy. I am finished.
Well, I only have a couple things, actually. I'll keep it nice and short. Since the last board meeting, we had our parent-teacher conferences, actually, and they were very well attended. I can echo Todd's statements about the energy for the holidays that are coming up. The little Spartans are getting pretty excited, and we're feeling the energy, so I'll just leave it at that. And this week, yesterday, and today, and tomorrow, kindergarten students are having their holiday concerts, their classroom concerts, so those have been very well attended, and if you drive through in the afternoon past the school, you can see the parking issues that we have. It's not quite as big as the spring concert, first day and second grade together. No, it's all going well, and just looking to wind down to winter break here coming up.
Pete did not mention it, but last Friday they did their kindergarten weird readers walkthrough, which is always it's a cool event. And I always make the mistake of finding a spot where they're going to walk through it and stick my hand out and let them give me fives. Those kindergartners like to hurt you.
Yeah.
Like they wear up and wind back, and by the time the 100 of them go through, my hand is like beet red from it. But it's fun to see them walk through the building and hold their books up, and that's neat and fun to watch. So that was last Friday. They walked through all the buildings. This past Monday, we had the band and choir winter concert. They did a phenomenal job. They combined them this year for the first time, which was kind of nice, especially for parents if you have somebody who's in band and choir. So they did a really, really nice job with that concert. And then last Thursday, we had our senior citizen Christmas party over at St. John's as well. We had about 170 senior citizens that attended. Started out the morning, they were in kind of in the rectory in the parish hall, and they were singing Christmas carols from our choir students, and then we brought them into the main portion. They had desserts and cheese and sausage, and we played bingo. Tried to give away many prizes as we could, so it was just a great day for all of our senior citizens. A lot of compliments from them. I know it's something a lot of them look forward to every year, so it was a real fun day.
So I wasn't at the November building, so our fall obviously ended very exciting for all the sports, but very busy. It was my son's 50th birthday, and a volleyball match and a cross country meet. So, yeah, basketball teams are off and running, and wrestling is headed to Kansas City tomorrow. I also have my athletic director conference in November, and I was running for the president-elect, and I was elected, so it's a 4-year term. So I will start, I think it starts in July, so you do president-elect, vice president, president, and vice president, so a 4-year term for me. So it's something I never thought I'd do, but I took the plunge, and I was elected, so looking forward to serving the organization.
I had 5 things, and Mike took 3, and Rebecca took 1. But the Luxembourg Chamber of Commerce had their Santa visit on December 5th, and the intermediate school, the band and choir, came, and they were playing music and singing carols, and then a little bit later in the evening, the high school choir came. And so that's a really nice partnership with the chamber, and the chamber really appreciates the kids coming over and doing that. And then I've been working on the strategic plan, and we just started doing focus groups. So right before this meeting, we had a focus group specifically inviting special education parents. And so Jane and I were there, and we got a lot of feedback, a lot of good things about our program and things that we can work on too, which is exactly what we want through the strategic planning process. So the consultants are going to be here for the next 2 days, and so we have a full slate of focus groups for the next 2 days. And then eventually we're going to take all of this information along with the survey information that's going to be presented to you next. And we're going to have 3 working days, and you have that flyer in front of you. So there's a date in January, 1 in February, 1 in March. And this is kind of the work session where we're going to take all this information, kind of pull it together, and what really does the community want to see from the district, and what direction should we be going.
Okay, thank you. Okay, discussion items. Speaking of the survey summary report, that is the first discussion.
Okay, so we have Lori Mueller and Michelle Yates with us from the Donovan Group, and they have been helping us with the strategic planning process. And we had a survey, and actually there are over 600 respondents from the survey. So that's pretty impressive.
It is.
Getting set up.
And that logo that we have.
You're gonna steal
Okay.
my speaking
I-
part, but it's
yeah.
okay, do it,
I'm going
that's
to.
fine.
Okay, so that logo, part of the, working with Donovan Group is branding the strategic planning process. And so what happened is that we had John McCulley's graphic arts class and Monica Whitrock's marketing class meet with the graphic design artist from Donovan Group to, like, they had a session where, because they're like, what are some words that describe the school? What's the feel of the school? The artist came up with some draft logos, and then the kids kind of like, well, we like this, we don't like this, we like this, we like this, and then they went back to one of the original ones. But it was a great experience for the kids to look at different logos and what does it mean, and why did he choose negative space and positive space. And the kids that were really in the design class really got a lot out of it, including that the designer was actually changing it while the kids were there and watching him change it. And he's like, this is why we don't do this, because the kids are all talking, well, do this, do this, do this, do this. So that's like, yeah, that's why designers never do that. You get the information, and then you schedule another meeting. So they learned that as well. So it was just a really cool experience to bring kids in and have them see a different career that they might not normally see.
And thank you for letting us do that, because it's great. We have our brand director lives in St. Louis, and he works remotely, and so we just thought this was a great opportunity for him to kind of share his career pathway and open that up to the kids, and to also see him work. And he was working in a design software that they use, so that was kind of nice for them too. So my name is Lori Miller. And just a little bit about who I am and what we're doing with you all with the strategic planning process, and then I'm going to share the survey results. But my background is I have 26 years of educational experience all here in the state of Wisconsin. And I currently live in Florida, and so try not to hate on me too much with that. But my background is I was a middle school teacher, and then I was a director of curriculum instruction, and my last 6 years I served as school superintendent in the school district of Baraboo. And now I'm in my 5th year as Donovan Group partner. And the Donovan Group is a communications firm and community engagement firm that only serves K-12 public schools. Public schools and public education is our why. So I get the opportunity to travel all over the country and work with different school districts in 12 different states. People think that's crazy, but I love it because it gives me a wide lens to bring what's working in public education all across the country to all of you as well. So that's a little bit about me and the Donovan Group, and my associate Michelle is back there taking notes. And we're here to, you know, again, as Joellen shared, we're here to do focus groups this week. And I just wanted, this is my first time with you as a board, so I wanted to kind of share just a quick overview of the strategic plan process. There are 5 phases, and we've been working through the planning and preparation and getting ready to kind of launch. We're past that point. What we're really into right now is phase 2 and 3 with assessment and feedback and the engagement and planning. So those kind of happen conjointly. And what we're doing with assessment is we are conducting interviews, we've done the survey, we are doing these focus groups, we're looking at everything we can get our hands on about like student performance, we're looking at facilities, we're looking at operations and budget, we're looking at staffing, all those things that make a school district operate and function at a high level so that we can bring that information together in front of your planning work group so that they can look for where can we stretch, where can we grow. Okay, so that's the other piece is engagement and planning. We've had a community engagement session, and when we come back from the holiday break, we'll start with the planning. Once we have identified a mission, vision, our core values, our portrait of a learner, identified where do we want to prioritize our growth moving forward over the next few years, we'll set goals, strategies to meet those goals, and how are we going to measure success. We do all that with the planning group, and then we get to internal action planning, which is your leadership team here will take all that information from the planning work group and execute the plan. So that's the implementation piece. So this is the journey we're on. And again, tonight I wanted to start with you by just sharing the survey results. So just that by way of process, what we did is we had a survey open from November 10th through December 7th. And the purpose of that was really to, again, assess what you currently have in place for your strategic plan. So that includes your mission, vision, and values. And to kind of gather from your community what's important to them. The survey was administered through our survey engine. We have a survey team at the Donovan Group, and we made sure they have this great process and algorithm to make sure that if we have individuals take the survey more than once, we can weed them out, or anything that's abnormal. And then, as Joellen shared, we had a total of 602 respondents, which is really great. Once we get past the number 400, we feel like the data in terms of percentages doesn't really change that much. So I'm going to go through the data and give you a chance to respond. And first off, we ask these demographic questions. And the reason we do that is we are looking for, you know, like you're going to maybe have a question down the road here. Well, I want to know, what did our teachers say about, you know, this particular question? Or what did our families say about this particular question? That's why we ask these questions. So you can see we had a wide variety of age groups participate, but the majority was in that range of age 35 through 44. And then we asked them, how long have you lived in the district? And this is kind of fascinating to me. This tells me that either you have really engaged people who have been, you know, Luxemburg-Casco for many, many years. They're here, they're committed. Or it also shows that you don't have a lot of new families in the area, maybe, I don't know. or you just have these individuals that have been here a long time that are really committed to the district to answer this survey. Does this shock you at all? I'm curious from your lens. No, not at all, okay. And then please check all that apply to you. Again, this is just getting a sense of who's taking the survey so we can disaggregate that information. And they can check all that apply. So in some cases, you might have someone checking more than one of these, right? But you definitely had a good response from those who are residents of the district, as well as those who are have school-age children here. But look, you also had a great response from alumni, which maybe correlates with that last question. You have people that stay here, they love it here, right? So on a scale of 0 to 10, we asked this question: how likely would you be to recommend a school district to a friend, colleague, or family member? And 10 is the highest score, and that is where most of your responses lay. So really, if you look at between 7 through 10, that's the lion's share of your responses, and that's a great place to be as a district. If we got a result that was different from that, that gave us a place to go in terms of finding out the why. So we asked them to, respond to this optional question, and we had 450 responses. How would you describe the school district to someone who's new? And so our survey team looks for themes through those responses, and these are the top 4 themes that they found. So in terms of community feel, we heard this from students when we asked them. They're like, this is a close-knit, family-oriented, small-town community. Right? We all rally around each other in the schools. Alongside the strengths, many noted that the community can be also challenging for newcomers or new people. We heard that academics and opportunities, that's a strength. A lot of the comments frequently praise that academic strength, citing high test scores, rigorous expectations, and that there's a lot of opportunities for a small school district for your students. Strong emphasis on athletics. This was a positive and a negative, that people really feel positive about the success of your athletic programs, while others maybe criticize that there's too much focus on athletics and celebration. And then we also heard that you have really dedicated, caring staff, which is a great thing to hear as an important strength. So then we remind them, here's the mission statement. Okay, we inspire minds, challenge students, promote excellence. We are Spartans. And then we ask them, thinking about that mission statement, which of the following describes your feelings? And here you can see there's a lot of satisfaction with what you currently have. And the mission statement, and we'll get into this with the planning group, is our why. It's why you exist as a school system. This is what you do every day. Okay, so it's good to see that there's agreement there. And then we reminded them of their current vision statement. Preparing our students to thrive, this is for the future, we're preparing them to thrive in a global community by ensuring excellence in intellect and virtue. We are Spartans. So we asked the same question. Thinking about that statement, which of the following describes your feelings? Again, a lot of agreement with that that's what we're about. So then you have currently these values. There's a number of bullets under each kind of theme there. So you have values related to rapport and relationships, around teaching and learning, and having a positive environment. So we reminded respondents, again, that these are your values that you hold for your students and staff. And we asked that same question. Again, lots of agreement. The reason we ask these questions is because when we come back together as a planning group, we're going to share these results, but we're going to say, do we need to make any adjustments to your mission and vision? Do we need any adjustments to your value statements? So then, again, we asked this optional question, and we had 140 respond, like why were their responses the way they were. And again, these themes came up, these top 3 themes. The one is some individuals, again 140 of the 602, feel that there might be some disconnect between statements and practice. Okay? So that's something we'll dig into a little bit as a planning group. Clarity, tone, and focus. Some noted that some of these words are wordy, repetitive, or abstract, or sometimes we're using terms like, and it was noted like excellence and virtue that feel high pressure, maybe not truly aligned with who you all are. So again, that's good feedback. We can talk about that as we dive into this work with your planning team. And then the last one, equity, inclusion, and favoritism. Some comments raise concerns that the district does not consistently uphold the values of respect, inclusion, and a positive environment. I want you to remember some of this because I'm gonna ask you later this evening when we do a focus group, where do you have questions that you want us to ask of different groups? So if you wanna know, well, where's that coming from, as an example, we'll wanna ask that question when we do focus groups with other audiences over these next couple of days. And then we ask, what educational and personal competencies are important to teach our students? Again, this is more about our why. And if we look at the top three, if it's a race, critical thinking and problem solving, really, really high. And that's important to see, I think, in just kind of what we experience as a society. Things are constantly changing. We have the introduction of AI. And so critical thinking, problem solving, that's great to see that at the top. Communication skills right after that, and then respect and cooperation. Good information for our planning worker. What elements make up our desired academic setting? Again, they can check all that apply. So the top three here, we're having clear expectations, exploring career pathways, and having safe and secure facilities. What elements make up our desired academic setting? Kind of a tie there, 50% saying modern learning environment and partnerships with families, both really important. And then followed up right after that with supportive culture and student voice opportunities. And then we ask, what core values should guide the Luxembourg School District? So coming and asking this after judging like their level of satisfaction with your core values right now, this again will help the planning work group decide if there needs to be any adjustments. So academic excellence, number one, communication, so we've seen that come up twice now. Respect, we've seen that come up twice, and safety, we've now seen come up a few times too. So it's nice to see that reflection. And then this is just the second page of that slide because there are a lot. So again, those were the top ones here, and then in descending order. Okay. And then over the next 5 years, where do you believe we should focus our improvement efforts? And they were asked to prioritize here, so they could choose up to 4 areas. So if we look at the top 4 here, the first one, assisting students in finding their purpose and their passion beyond high school. You're seeing a second time in our career and technical education program. We're seeing again, school safety and security and mental health services for students. And it's worth noting that recruitment and retainment of high quality staff is really close there too. Okay, and then this is just continuation. So I'll go again, these are the top ones. And then you can see it in descending order here. I would suggest that what you're seeing that has the less weight here means that there's pretty good satisfaction with those things right now. So thinking about your knowledge of and experiences with the district, what makes this district unique? And again, this was an optional question and we had 250 responses. And the themes here were, what makes you unique is you have this small town atmosphere. It sounds like relationships are really strong. And I think you'll find that that's what makes good school districts great, is that they have those great relationships in place. A strong career preparation is really important here. Opportunities in a rural setting. Right? You're rural, you're small, but you have like the impact of a large district. And then again, we see this again come up, dedicated staff and teachers, and that you have a unique trend of alumni returning to work in the district and they were identified as key differentiators. Okay. Don't see that everywhere we go, so it is truly unique. So, I want to give you a chance to ask questions or respond to anything that you saw like, as a group. Is there anything that you want to go a little deeper into? Or anything that just, you're walking away with a reaction that you want the whole to hear at this point? And as you're thinking about that, this is one data point, right, that we're bringing together as we do interviews and focus groups and looking at all the things that you have available for us to assess. Yeah.
So looking at the data, because you work with numerous school districts.
Yes.
And one of the, I've been here a long time, gave kind of like percentile ranks or how like we perform compared to other schools that have gone through this. Like, do people think highly of our school as compared to what do other people think highly of education? Kind of so as they're numbers until you compare, and it's not that we're trying to compare ourselves, but we're always
Right.
trying to move. Can you enlighten us?
Yeah, I mean, just without like throwing numbers up in front of me.
Yeah, I don't, yeah, just verbally.
When we ask particularly that question of 0 to 10, would you recommend? And I would say you have really strong results in comparison to what I've seen with other districts for that particular question. Unfortunately, we've seen that there can be quite a bit of dissatisfaction with the school system. And again, that kind of guides us then on our next steps. What we can do is we can take the information that we've gathered with all of our surveys and look for like districts that are in this region, but also like of size, and we could show you how you compare. We could definitely do that, yeah. But no, I think this is really positive information.
No, I wasn't.
Yeah, no, I think you truly do have something unique here, and very infancy of working with you all, but the community engagement session we had, really positive feedback from that group. There's a genuine respect for the work that's going on in the district from your families and community members. It's noted that there's high performance in the district, which is a great place to be as a district. Again, the relationships are strong. That's what makes great districts, is to have that community. So what we're gonna be looking for throughout this planning process is not so much validating what you already do so well, but like where do we go next? And where do we stretch?
It's interesting that there's a lot of positivity, and we go back to our referendum, and we struggle to pass it. And I'm just wondering where the disconnect is from there to that.
Yeah, and that's something we can dig into, right, with these focus groups. So hold on to that, because we'll come back to that. Yeah.
There was a slide that had, I believe it was like 3 or 4 concerns. One of them was prioritizing athletics over something.
Yes, yeah.
Was that optional, and if so, how many people responded to that?
It was optional, yep. And I can go back to that one, if you give me 1 second here. I think that was one of the earlier, so this one. Yeah, it was this one. So when we asked, how would you describe, it was optional, and we had 450 responses on that. And that was just a theme that came from those responses.
Several comments raised concerns about favoritism in sports.
And that's not saying 450 said that, that's just saying
It was a theme.
It was So some people like great sports, great programs. Other people say too much emphasis on athletics and, prioritize that too much. And then a couple said that, there was some favoritism, amongst, kind of like coach's kid gets to be, the quarterback, that kind of thing.
But again, that's another place where we can ask some pretty pointed questions and focus groups and dig deeper.
I think that's a valuable statement there, because one of the things that we run across is community members have this assumption that the school spends a lot on athletics, and we really don't.
Yeah.
And I would love for the truth to get out of that. The budget.
We can make that happen.
So
Yeah.
small.
Yeah.
Our community is what really funds the sports.
Yeah.
And And a lot of the voters just have this assumption that we spend a huge budgetary number on sports, and it's not true.
Yeah, we can definitely help you with that messaging.
I
through
think
this
getting that out
process.
would help future referendums for sure.
Yes,
Would it be possible, Joe, to get this, like an email copy of it? Because I think this would be great information for us all to have as board members. This is like a report card for us.
absolutely, not a problem. And I'll be back to talk to you all in a little while and get your thoughts about some of these things. Okay? All right.
Thank you. Open enrollment caps.
Okay, so we have to set our open enrollment caps in January, so usually in December, we give you preliminary, what it's gonna look like, and in this document, it's the numbers that are in red. So we have to decide where our capacity is, then we look at how many open enrollments we have, and then how many spaces we would have available for additional open enrollment students. And I think we're sitting pretty good because in almost all of our grade levels, we're not at capacity. I know there was some concern with some building going on in the village, that, oh my gosh, we're going to overfill our classrooms, and we're really not in danger of that in any way, shape, or form. And then, Jane did the open enrollment numbers. We talked about special education space. She looked at it a little bit different, and she broke it down a little bit different. But again, what we want to do is, do we have the capacity in our caseloads to be able to add additional students, taking into consideration if we have special education students in our district, we obviously have to serve them as well. And we have to be careful about taking in, if we got somebody that medical high need student that decides to open enroll, then we're bringing that financial aspect into the district as well. So, is there anything else you want to say?
As well stated, unless there's questions about any of the numbers or kind of how I calculated things.
So just, you'll see this back in January, and you'll be asked to vote on it.
Donations to Community Health Worker Fund.
Yep, so that was something I recently got a donation for that fund and kind of processed it as I usually do, and then I was thinking to myself, if we just adopted this donation form, it feels a little different to me, just because it is that Community Health Worker Fund, and so it really is going to, all the donations are just going in there to be used for families in need, so I feel like it's not necessarily a donation to the district. We're keeping those funds and then allocating them to families in need by supporting the clothing closet, the free laundry days. We have, like, Knights of Columbus have been giving almost monthly $20 check towards that to support those free laundry days. We randomly just get people who are looking to donate. And so I thought I would bring it here because I don't want to, obviously, if we want to consider this as we do all the other donations, that's fine, and I will kind of run all those through that. But it just felt a little bit different, and I wasn't sure the board's feelings on that, so I thought I'd bring it to this group just for discussion.
I know Joellen and I talked about it, and I said, I think a lot of these people are donating not for the fact of getting recognition.
Right.
They just want to help.
I saw this in the agenda, and it made me think, would it be worth taking a look at our donation policy that we just did? Because there are certain things that are especially of just monetary value, they're not equipment or something like that, or they're reoccurring. I don't really feel like they need board approval. So that may be something that we could look at a little bit, so that you don't get yourself in that situation and feel like it needs to be brought to us, because I don't feel like every donation of $20 needs to be, or if it's recurring. The intent originally was, if it's a piece of equipment, it needs to meet our needs, it needs to be safe, all that kind of stuff, right?
And make the board more aware of what's being donated by our boosters. But that's why this, with the small amounts and stuff like that, would you like to see it on on the standard form that we just developed? Because that's a form, it's not necessarily a policy, but that, or would you be okay with, in this particular case with the Community Health Fund, that, Jane is just handling that on her own?
I'm fine with that.
Okay.
Appreciate
If we're really that
guidance.
curious, I'm sure there's a line item in the budget somewhere.
Review the fund.
Okay, the draft for the financial audit.
So I emailed it to you and then I brought you the copy, so the actual draft with financial reports in there, then they do their management, like advisory letter, and then, the presentation in there. So they will come to the January meeting.
Sounds good. Okay, discuss and approve the 26-27 district calendar. Seems like school just started and I'm already thinking of next year.
It's so exciting. Some of us are stuck here at school forever and can't graduate. August, pretty traditional, our in-service, new teacher in-service, all of that. We have our flex days to partner with our teachers to keep them growing and learning in different things. We've already started meeting about that or had preliminary discussions, what are opportunities we can do to professionally develop our staff. You can see homecoming, everybody wants to know when homecoming is, and the football game and the dance and all that other good stuff. Pretty traditional, we usually have one in-service day in October, which is nice because we have to do reading plans that day. And the reading plans take a lot of work and a lot of time, and it's important. Trying to figure out and make sure that we're meeting every child's needs in that. And then we have parent-teacher conferences. That's when we traditionally host parent-teacher conferences. The Give Back Day, if you wonder why do we have the 25th off, is because the teachers spending those 2 nights doing parent-teacher conferences. The day off is the 25th of Thanksgiving, and we surveyed the staff about that a couple years ago, and the committee group that talked to us said, yes, let's do that. We have Christmas break is basically as short as we can make it, even though it's long. I don't mean just 23rd is when we're going to get out, and that's how we roll. High school exam, so Tyson has that working there, and then the teacher in service there is for grading, planning for the next semester, doing that work for middle school, high school, the intermediate school and primary school. Actually, we do professional development on that day. Teacher in service on February 5th. And then the next one is on the 26th, and on the 26th, that is the work day for the primary and intermediate school teachers because they're on trimesters, and so we try to meet all of our teachers' needs by shifting things around, and we are completely fine with that. So we just make it work. High school then has PD on that, and middle school on those days as compared to the primary and intermediate school.
Just going back to February 5th, that's another one of those.
Oh, the reading plan days, yes, sorry. Thanks for the reminder, Pete. And then ACT, along with, and we have to stay off that week because there's 3 days that they provide us to provide the ACT, and then full spring break. And then you have Good Friday, and parent-teacher conferences pop up in there again. And the last day for students would be on the May 27th. Last day for teachers is on the 28th, and graduation is on the 19th. Summer school starts June 7th. And
We just went through the whole school year already.
pretty much done.
Time flies.
Yes, it is good. And then obviously for makeup days and snow days and those types of things, we always keep very close track of that as well. And so just having enough built on that. We also just for sharing, sometimes some staff members will think they work more than other staff members. I actually sat down and calculated out all the hours just because I'm that person. And typically a teacher works about 300 minutes, 315 minutes with supervision. Some have supervision, some have students more in the classroom, but between that 350, 325, 3:15 to 3:25, that's pretty typical of what our teachers do between supervision and teaching and all of those things. So we, as leaders, pay attention to all of that and monitor that, and nobody really gets away with doing less or more, so it's fun. Just in case you're wondering. Questions for me?
Hearing none, do I have a motion?
I would make a motion that we adjust the schedule to have December 23rd be a school day for attendance and to make the last day of school the 26th of May. And my motion is kind of based off of looking at the last 5 to 6 years of did we go to school like that before Christmas or didn't we? And when were we able to end the school year based on like a calendar number? So for the families that like to start summer a little bit earlier, I think this is a nice way of making that possible for them. So it's kind of a happy medium. Because there's a lot of families who don't like a full week of spring break, and we are able to put that into the calendar to accommodate those families. So I think it's kind of a nice way to give a little for both.
I think we had that discussion at the last meeting too, where I said that, I know my comment was giving the teachers, the faculty, and staff the 2 days before Christmas, because a lot of people travel, their
Mhm.
families aren't around.
Mhm.
And I know myself, if I were, I'd enjoy the 2 days before, just to get my house in order.
This year we're going on the 23rd, like next week.
Yeah.
I'd second Jen's motion.
Any other discussion?
The advantage of what Jen's saying allows our students a day earlier in terms of their summer employment income, talking about competing with other students coming out of other school districts. And it gives our students an extra day for employment at the end of the school year, not just those graduating, but those that are still in school also. So I think you've got a very interesting point on that one, Jen.
Thank you.
Any other comments? Motion's been made and seconded by Jenny and Alex. All in favor of having school on, or, yes, having school on the 23rd of December and ending the school year on the 26th of May. All in favor?
Let's do a roll call.
Roll call? Okay. Dave?
Aye.
Nate?
Aye.
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 Nay. Ayes have it. Okay. Discuss and approve the 26 LUM report, communication and consulting agreement. Let me just write this down.
Okay, so, the, Global Communication and Consulting is who we work with on, articles that really help the district a lot as far as getting, our stories out. So that we're not just athletics, but that we talk a lot about academics and career and technical education and career pathways and, our test scores and how we're doing academically. And he really helps write the articles, he connects with other people in the district. It's really has been great for us. This new contract has a 0 increase for 2025 over 2026. And then with the retainer activities, adding, assisting the rollout of the strategic plan once we get that done. And then again, if we were to go to operational, if we don't know if we're gonna do it or not, you know, he'd be helping with that as well. So there's no price increase.
I'll make a motion on that.
I'll second.
I think he has done a super job. I was a little weary the first year, but yes, much better. Okay, discuss and approve the playground, oh, wait a minute. Yeah, I think we need a vote. I need a motion, okay, second, you,
Motion,
I second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? I'm getting cold in here
Wait,
again.
did somebody oppose?
I said no.
Okay,
Okay,
sorry, thank you,
I'm
Dave.
just looking at it.
Since we're,
okay. Discuss and approve the playground donation from Teelan Construction and Harmon Studios. Thank you to them.
I'll make a motion to approve those.
Second, I'll do a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Is there something that the heat gets turned off in here? This is good. I'm cold. Usually I'm not.
I'm warm.
No. Okay,
I was just thinking, I'm like, it's not cold in here, it usually is.
I feel a breeze on my back. Discuss and approve the Steve Okanowski honor recommendation.
So I met with a group of different people, and we came up with some recommendations. Couple that we came up with, just in the rationale behind this is that a lot of people knew Steve just, that he was a football coach, but he had so much more in this district. So that's why we reconvened, a committee. So some of the recommendations we thought of, all the hallway here, Okanowski Hall of Champions, or Okanowski Hall of Honor. Or we actually got another idea of calling the school road, by the IGA Okanowski Way, and I've been working with Pete, because he's on the board with that. And they would be, open to that, with us having to cover the cost, which I don't know if they know what the cost of it is.
It's a new road sign. It's probably
Is there-
about,
Is there a name for that?
Yeah, it's
Oh,
school-
it's
school street or school road
Yeah.
or something like that.
it's probably about, I don't know, a good sign, 250.
Well, and so I brought it up with the village board and they're fine with it. One of the nice things is there's no businesses or homes that have their address on that street, so it's not really gonna be a big deal. The engineer said of any street renaming, this would be the easiest one. And the board is open to it, they just don't wanna have to pay for it.
And then another idea was putting a plaque or two, because again, he had his hands in so many different areas, so. Kind of where I would recommend was going the road route along with, a plaque or two, because we don't want to put it in too many places, so that down the road, if other people need to be honored as well, just putting a plaque in the office, or, so that would be my recommendation, based on all the feedback, and we get some really good feedback from the group, so. You guys have any?
I would add, I mean, how big, like this one on the left here, how big is that? Do you know? Those
The
plaque-
plaque?
Yeah, do you know how big?
That was ChatGPT.
Oh, okay.
They did such a nice job.
They did, right.
I would work with Jackie
Okay,
Lander.
yeah.
Oh, sure.
I would recommend, because obviously this whole conversation started when Bob was on the board about naming a football field. I do feel we should put at least a plaque at the entryway of the football field, or the sports complex,
Sports
actually,
complex,
right? That's,
I think we do one there and one, I think we have to have something.
yeah.
Mhm. I think that first one on the left is
Yeah, like
fantastic
that.
for, yeah, for the main hallway.
Yeah, I was thinking, we get the hands.
But
if you just say it's just a pinky, yeah.
They just have to go talk to Larry McCarron. His fingers are good as
Can I
shaking.
take a hold of your hand? Sure.
I was gonna say it, but I'm like, no, that's appropriate.
We'll pass.
So
Just the plaque, by the,
Where we
athletic
walk
field
into
when
the
you walk in,
sports.
and then a plaque somewhere else in the building where the committee decides. What about the roadway?
If,
I like
it.
I like the roadway.
I like the roadway. I think that's a very cool idea.
Okay. Roadway?
Obviously, I did not budget for any of this, so.
Right.
I don't think it's a ginormous cost, but, just, I did not budget for that. No, that'd be fun.
I'm sure those plaques aren't.
No, no.
Jackie does a very nice job, like.
Yes.
Yeah, no,
she
I
does.
have money in, like, when we do our awards for teachers at the end of the year, so. But Rebecca has mine, so let's spend hers instead of mine.
You guys, we already heard that, it's in the minutes, right?
Is that just a
Yeah,
nod?
you guys paying for it.
Mike has money, I think that's
Yep,
what I
Mike
heard.
has
No, and it's not that expensive, so it'll be fine. I work with Jackie as well, she does,
Yeah.
yeah.
She-
Oh,
We
So,
send a lot of people.
is that a motion?
Yeah,
We good with Okan, we were just talking, we were talking about the
Oh.
name, Okanowski Way, we like that better.
I like that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
there's a little difference between a way
Way
and a
and a
road.
Yep.
I have roads.
even this one.
Okay, so I have a first and a second.
I'll second.
Motion's been made and seconded for going with Okanowski Way and the plaque at the football field and also one name hallway. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Early college credit?
Just one more student here applying for college credit in the spring.
I'll make the motion.
I'll second.
Motion's been made and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Approve the Northeast Wisconsin Youth Apprenticeship Service Agreement.
So again, there's no substantive changes from the agreement from this year to next year, and this is our agreement for our youth apprenticeship program.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second.
Motion's been made and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Consider a possible motion to adjourn to closed session.
I'll make that motion.
I need a second.
I'll second.
Motion's been made and seconded. All in favor? Aye. Thank you. Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas, everybody.